The Carolina Hurricanes have had a busy past 24 hours with a shootout win over the New Jersey Devils. Stadium Series jerseys potentially getting leaked, as well as both netminders netting NHL awards. Find out all about that in this episode of Locked On Hurricanes.
You're Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey there, Caniacs. I'm your host, Jared Ellis, and you're listening to Locked On Hurricanes on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And as always, thank you for making Locked On Hurricanes your first listen of this Monday evening. And in today's episode, we will be recapping last night's game against the New Jersey Devils, discussing Annti, Raanta, and Pyotr Kochetkov's NHL awards, and talking about the potential Stadium Series jersey leaks. But before that, make sure you are following the show on Twitter and Instagram at LO_Hurricanes, and myself on Twitter at JaredEllis_96. And like I said, we're going to dive in, with the bigger of the things, that being last night's win over the New Jersey Devils. This was a 5-4 win in the shootout over the Devils. And heading into this game, Antti Raanta was riding a back-to-back shootout streak, and with that, he obviously the streak came to end. But with that, he now has the third longest shutout streak in franchise history. It lasted nearly 8 periods, totaling 163 minutes and 52 seconds, trailing only Trevor Kidd and Kevin Weeks. And one thing that and obviously the win and point streaks stayed alive following this game as well. 17 game point streak and 11 game win streak. Obviously, both are franchise records. This is stuff that just continues to grow game after game. This is something that we're loving to see. And one thing that I have enjoyed in this game and the past several is the fact that the Carolina Hurricanes scored first for the 10th time in the last 11 games. Now, if you remember back to the beginning of the season, heck, even in last season, seasons past, the Carolina Hurricanes have had issues with playing from behind. And I've said time after time that's not something you can do all the time and get away with it, because it's not sustainable. Yeah, this team is very good and they are able to score goals. We've seen that as of late, of the offense really starting to uh just be firing on all cylinders, trying to think of an analogy for that, but I couldn't think of one, to be honest. But yeah, the offense is firing on all cylinders, and again, scoring first in the last 11, 10th time in the last 11 games, excuse me, is really good. And we're seeing it, not only from top guys, that you want to score goals, which we'll get into. You're also seeing it from depth guys as well. In this game against New Jersey, Derek Stepan scored 2 goals. Fourth line guy that sometimes is a healthy scratch, not a guy that you're expecting to go out and have a 2 goal game and be on hat trick watch. That's not something you expect. And that's been something that's been a trend all season long. Heard Jordan Martin getting a hat trick in St. Louis. Like, what the heck? Yeah. And I say that in a good way as well, because this is something that we want to be happening. And like I said, we're getting goals from the guys we want. Sebastian Aho, if you haven't seen his goal where he just played the puck off of Mackenzie Blackwood, it was great. Go watch that highlight. You know, the Hurricanes are everyone is pitching in. And that is what this team needs to do to continue this point streak, continue the win streak, and just keep going throughout the rest of the regular season and into the playoffs. If if they want to win a Stanley Cup, they need to play, for the most part, games like they've been playing where it's full, complete team games. Now, this game was not without its issue because obviously, the Hurricanes had a 2-1 lead heading into the third with that Aho goal, but the Devils came back, forced overtime. Actually, the Hurricanes were the ones who forced overtime with Marty Necas tying up the game. But turnovers were bad in this game. It was very unlike the Hurricanes, which is something we'll hear from Rod Brind'Amour in a bit whenever we hear his post game thoughts of the turnovers just being very unlike the Hurricanes. It typically isn't an issue with them. I don't think this is going to be something that is going to be an issue tomorrow against New York Rangers and then going forward. I think it was just a random occurrence. I think that's what it was. I don't think it's anything to be worried about. Yes, you can be frustrated about it, but don't act like the world is burning down because it's not. And the Hurricanes, they're going to be okay. It's not anything to worry about. But with this game, and Andrei Svechnikov going into the shootout and getting the only goal in shootout there in that second round, that was also his sixth career game-winning shootout goal. So big congratulations to him. And like I said, the guys you're wanting to score, the guys that you're paying to score these goals are doing it right now. Sebastian Aho, Marty Necas, Andrei Svechnikov, those are the guys you want to be putting the puck in the back of the net. And then you got a guy like Derek Stepan stepping up as well and putting the team on his back as well. And Antti Raanta, again, he had some leaky goals in this game, which is, as much as we love Antti Raanta, that is kind of par for the course with him. And you're going to get some leaky goals like that sometimes from him. But especially early on in this game against the Devils, he was a big factor of the Devils staying off of the score sheet. So, he deservedly won. Obviously, I know this game took place on Sunday, but he's been on a really good run as of late. He won the third star of the NHL's third star of the week, for last week, ending in January 1st. And this is coming off of a lot of people criticizing him in his play. And the man is an NHL goalie, yet everyone has bad games. And like you said, leaky goals, allowed and stuff like that. This is going to happen. But, he's been on a heck of a run late. And yeah, he started 5 in a row with this game right here for a reason. He's been on a heck of a run. He's won his last 7 decisions on a 6-game win streak for him. And he's on a run. And we'll talk more about Antti Raanta here shortly after we hear from Rod Brind'Amour and talk about his post-game thoughts following this game against the Devils.
Rod, this team extends the win streak to 11 here today. What were your biggest takeaways from the game?
Oh, there's a lot, to be honest. I thought we played really well, and we just gave up. We gave some really uncharacteristic kind of turnovers and things that we don't normally do. And against this team, you can't do that, and they just came down and boom. And I thought I liked the resiliency, though. I liked that we just kept playing, and then overtime, I thought we had a bunch of chances to win the game. So. And then Rance, I thought he'd probably say he'd like to have a couple back, but then in shootout, he was phenomenal, right? So kind of a lot of ups and downs, but I like that we just kind of stuck with what we were trying to accomplish.
Is that a veteran team just finding a way? Another example of what you guys do so well.
Yeah, I mean that's a nice way to put it. Probably, I think we didn't play, we didn't manage it probably the best way we could have. But like I said, we got enough players in here that we can come back. We can get it down and still find a way to get it done. So, we'll take it.
What do you make of that third period?
Well, it was crazy. It's probably entertaining because the game was kind of not so entertaining the first little bit. I mean, it was okay, but all of a sudden the action just picked up. And like I said, I thought we were creating a lot of offense, and then we were allowing them to do what they want to do by how we were kind of managing the puck. But again, at the end of the day, it's a good 2 points.
What do you like mostly about the team during the streak?
That was not how we played during the streak. We were been pretty more solid, not giving up too much, a little more consistent with our play, shift in, shift out. You saw it in spurts here, but overall, that's the reason we've kind of been able to go on this run.
Before we flew out yesterday, we talked about the efficiency of goaltending and the difference that makes. But when you have a goaltender who's making those quality, timely saves, what does that do in terms of building momentum in a game?
Yeah, you need it. I mean, I think, like I said, I thought Raanta was good, and then all of a sudden in the third, he probably wished he had a couple of those back. But then when it counted, we were able to get back into it, and then in overtime and the shootout especially, obviously, that's when he kind of took it to another level. So, especially against that kind of skill level coming at you, that's a daunting task, but he rose to the occasion.
All right. Thanks.
So again, Rod echoing a lot of the same stuff that we've already said here. Recapping this game, turnovers were the big issue. And again, I'm not concerned about that going forward at all. I think it was just an outlier for the Canes, and I think that one thing that heading into tomorrow's game against the Rangers is going to be, continue to build on what they're doing. And I know that seems simple, I guess you would say. But again, you look at what this team is doing right now. You heard it from Rod, you've heard it from me. And they need to continue to build on what they're doing. They've played really, really great hockey for the most part in this streak that they've been going on. Again, it's 11 straight wins, 17 game point streak, and they're playing like a team. Again, you can point to the turnovers in this game, power play as a whole, but they're getting the job done. And I think that is fantastic. And I expect to see that continue tomorrow against the New York Rangers, but we will talk more about that tomorrow. But now we need to talk about our goalies. We've talked about Annti Raanta some as already, and we'll talk about him again, but we're also going to talk about Pyotr Kochetkov because both of those guys have been given or awarded monthly and weekly NHL honors, and we will talk about that right after this quick break. This episode is brought to you by our partners at Athletic Greens. Athletic Greens is a daily multivitamin, and it is, of course, lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free, and it contains less than 1 gram of sugar with no GMOs, no nasty chemicals, or artificial anything while still tasting good. And it supports better sleep quality and recovery. It supports mental clarity and alertness. It's the one thing with the best things. Athletic Greens uses the best of the best products based on the latest science with constant third-party iterations and third-party testing. And of course, tons of people take some kind of multivitamin, and it's important to choose the right one with high quality ingredients that your body will actually absorb. AG1 is a small micro habit with big benefits. It's one thing you can do every single day to take care of yourself. Your subscription comes with a year's supply of vitamin D, which is so important to add into with these winter months when you don't get as much sunlight because it's kind of cold outside, guys. So right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1 year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL network. That is athleticgreens.com/NHL network to take ownership of your health and pick up the daily nutritional insurance. Now, folks, getting back into Annti Raanta and Pyotr Kochetkov, these guys have been on some amazing streaks as of late. We already touched on Annti Ranta's shutout streak that we had. Again, it is the third longest in franchise history, nearly 8 periods long, 163 minutes, 52 seconds behind only Trevor Kidd and Kevin Weeks. Guys, he's on a he's on a run, and I'd like to think it's fueled by the Twitter haters and whatnot. But again, yeah, that's beside the point. And he won the NHL's third star of the week again for the week ending in January 1st. A big congratulations to Annti Raanta. It was very, very well deserved. And this is why. Again, he is went 3-0-0 in that week with a 1.30 goals against average, a .944 save percentage, 2 shutouts with 24 saves against Chicago on December 27th and 19 against Florida on December 30th. So Annti Raanta, again, heck of a week last week. Man was nearly unstoppable. And yeah, I guess you could include that game against the Devils last night because it was on January 1st. Yeah, I guess he counts. But it Auntie Ronti had a heck of a run last week, and he really putting a lot of doubters to bed, in my opinion. And he again a lot of unnecessary criticism, in my opinion. Yes, he's not a perfect goalie by any stretch. We've touched on his leaky goals many times, but he's getting these starts for a reason, guys, and it's because of these performances that he can put on. And we're talking about how Pyotr was just getting start after start after start. And it's because he was on a run. He was the hot set of hands. And now it's Antti Ranta. He's on that kind of streak. And I expect Pyotr, whenever he gets start again, be the exact same way. He's gonna pick up where he left off, I think. And at the end of the day, you go with the hot set of hands. You're here to win games, not you know play this guy's favorite player instead of this girl's favorite, and stuff like that. You're here to win games, and Antti Ranta is winning the Hurricanes games right now. Same with Pyotr as well. I kept thinking Antti Ranta was going to get a start there for a while, but Pyotr was just forcing Rod Brind'Amour and his staff's hand into continuing to start Pyotr. He was playing that good, and now it's Antti Ranta. But getting into Pyotr, he won or was awarded the NHL's third rookie of the month. Excuse me, I almost said third star. He he was the NHL's rookie of the month for the month of December. He went 7-0-1 in December. Did not lose in regulation. He had a 1.65 goals against average, a .939 save percentage. Man went absolutely nuts in the month of December. If you remember, he was the first goalie to post back-to-back shutouts since Kevin Weeks did that in 2003 and 2004. Almost 20 years it took for someone to do that again. Obviously, the Hurricanes, some rough times. But, the fact that, like, Cam Ward never did it is crazy. I know, he has his critics and whatnot, but he's the Hurricanes guy for so long. The fact that Cam never even did that is wild to me. Wild. And He was the second Hurricanes goalie to be named Rookie of the Month, with Alex Nedeljkovic being the first back in March of 2021. If you've been around for a while, you'll remember me talking about that here on this show. But he was also the fifth goalie to fifth Hurricanes goalie, excuse me, to be awarded an NHL monthly award with, again, Alex Nedeljkovic. You had Cam Ward with the first star of the month back in March of 2009. Anton Khudobin back with the first star of the month back in January of 2014. It's a guy that some people may forget that once put on a Hurricanes jersey. And then Frederick Anderson with the third star of the month back in October of 2021. So big congratulations to both of those guys. Absolutely killing it. While Frederick Anderson has been out, we've talked about some already of what the heck is going to happen whenever Freddie comes back. I'm firm believer that we're just gonna roll like Detroit and go with 3 goalies, because I think Pyotr is way too good to send back to the AHL. I think, yeah, he's not going back. He ain't going back, and I don't see uh, Annti, Raanta, or Frederik Andersen getting traded either. It'll make things really interesting come off season time. Obviously, whole heck of a lot of hockey to get through between now, January 1st, 2023, and then, whenever the Hurricanes off season may begin, whenever that would be. So a lot of time to go between that and, well, we'll just say free agency with Raanta and Anderson both being unrestricted free agents. It's going to be a very interesting off season and a very interesting situation whenever Freddie does come back. But of course, the Hurricanes are are somewhat used to rolling with 3 goalies. If you remember, a couple, gosh, oh man, the time is just hitting me, guys. Oh man, you remember back in early 2021, with or the playoffs in 2021, whenever we went 3 goalies with Mrazek, Reimer, and Ned. Man, that's 2 years ago now. Wow, that's crazy to think about. It's crazy, but yeah, time means nothing now, guys. But we're all dealing with that existential issue right now of time just hitting us. God, I'll be 27 this year. Jesus, I'm getting old. But one thing, before we get into free agency, playoffs, all that stuff is the Hurricane Stadium series. That's a little over a month and a half away. We haven't had an official look at the jerseys yet. They haven't been officially released, but there has evidently been a leak that has been going around, and we will talk about that leak right after this. All right, folks, it's back, and it's time to talk about this Stadium Series jersey leak. So it comes from, I believe, Liberty Bell Jerseys, I believe, is the account on Twitter that has leaked the jerseys. And yeah, Liberty Bell Jerseys is the account on Twitter that leaked the jerseys, and it, it's it's fine. It's fine. I don't hate it. It is essentially the same one that we saw a couple years ago, ahead of the stadium, when the stadium series was originally supposed to take place. And I don't hate it, but I was kind of wanting more as well. It's better than this year's reverse retros. You guys know my thoughts on that. I think those are pretty mid. Uh, But whenever I saw the logo for the Stadium series, it's slowly kind of been coming out. It's obviously officially been released since. but you're kind of starting to see it on some merchandise. I remember I saw it over in the North Hills neighborhood whenever I went to go see the new Avatar movie a few weeks ago, and then a couple days later, the official uh, logo got released, and it was blacked out version of the swirl logo. And whenever I saw that, I'm thinking this is the exact same logo from that leak jersey. And actually, if I remember correctly, it's the same one that was like the 3D embossed kind of logo they had on the away helmets like the first year. Um, they debuted the new aways. And you know, I do like that logo, and I do like these jerseys. Again, don't get me wrong, but I was just kind of wanting more. They are, very similar to the Pittsburgh Penguins 2019 uh stadium series and the 2019 All-Star games jerseys. They're very similar to those which again those are not bad jerseys. They're just kind of it feels like something's missing, in my opinion. I wish there was something. I wish it would pop a bit more. It doesn't pop enough, and it's just essentially black and red, and that's it. I Black, red, and gray. That's it. There's pretty much no white on here at all. Again, it's not a bad jersey, okay, but it just I really I'm with the majority of wishing we had that collegiate looking Stormy logo on it that kind of got debuted this offseason, with some t-shirts and decals and stuff like that. I really wanted that to be it, to be incorporated there somehow because it would fit so well considering they're playing in a college football stadium. Go with a college style logo. I thought that would work really, really well. But at the end of the day, I guess I get it of why they went with this because they're very in line with their black, now home jerseys used to be the alternates. Very in line with that, but at least with those, there's a bit more like color on it to make it pop. There Obviously I know it's a lot of black and a lot of gray, but there's still like a little bit more hints of color. There's like the stick with some white on it and the brown and you know there's a bit more color on it. It pops a little bit more. This one feels very much like you would design it in a video game almost. Like you would design it in NHL 22 or well, I guess 23 now, but we've had our existential issue this episode already. So this just feels video gamey. And again, it is not a bad jersey, but I do wish that they did something else. They had 2 extra years to work on this design. It's again, from what I've seen, almost identical to that previous leak. So they just went with the same one, and then the fact that they also I forget who it was said it, but they said that that wasn't going to be what they're going to go with, but now it looks like that is what they're going with. So it is what it is. It's not bad by any stretch. I just wish it was a bit more. I wish there was a little bit more color on it to make it pop. Maybe a little bit of white trim or something like that. But yeah, at the end of the day, with this jersey, with this year's reverse retros, at least it's not more Whaler stuff. I know. A lot of people are going to get mad at me for that, but the team has been the Hurricanes for 25 years. Leave the Whalers to a one night a year thing, and that's where I'm at with that. Like it's been done too much. The Whalers for 25 years. If you remember the first time the reverse retros were done, Jordan Martinook even said on the radio that he was hoping for Hurricanes, not Whalers, because they've been Hurricanes for over 20 years at that point. But That's neither here nor there. Again, it's not a bad looking jersey. We've seen some pretty bad ones in the past for Stadium Series and Winter Classics and Heritage Classics and all these games. We've seen some bad ones in the past, and this is not bad. It's just I wish there was more. I wish there was more. And do keep in mind with all of this is going off of a alleged leak. So maybe this is the real deal. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. If it is the real deal, it's not the worst jersey in the world. I just wish there was a little bit more color. And maybe whenever we see them out on the ice, we'll feel a bit differently. We kind of see them with the full the helmets and skate and see the whole get up. Maybe we feel a little bit different about it. And then you start seeing numbers and names and the patches because I guess they're going to do the 25th anniversary patch on it. And you'll also have Stadium Series patch. Maybe once we see it, with some of this other stuff on it, it'll be better. But what we're seeing now, it's the blank jersey. It's just the logo and that's it. Again, I'm kind of middle of the road. It's middle of the road for me. It's not terrible by any means. It's not great either. That's where I'm at with it. So we'll see what it looks like, whenever we get an official release. I imagine if this is legit, then maybe we will see, that official release come sooner rather than later. Mike Foreman, did put out on social media today that that's the NHL. The NHL does that, not the Hurricanes, because the Hurricanes wanted to have it out sooner so they could sell them for holidays. They could have them personalized, and all that stuff. That would have made sense, but it's the NHL. So if it doesn't make sense, if it makes sense, they're not going to do it. But that is what it is. Tweet at me. Let me know your thoughts on this Stadium Series jersey leak. If you think it's legit, if you think it's not, you like it, you hate it, you love it, whatever. Let me know. Make sure you're following the show on Twitter and Instagram at @LO_Hurricanes. Subscribe on YouTube. You can let me know your thoughts on the jersey down below in the comments on YouTube, or again, tweet at me on Twitter as well. And follow my personal Twitter as well at Jared Ellis _96. And I will talk to you guys in the next episode where we preview tomorrow's game against the New York Rangers. You guys have a great rest of your day and a great new year. And as always, let's go Canes.